climate crisis in the Midwest is vast and dangerous, displacing millions of people and ruining livelihoods. Overall, rising temperatures cause severe weather events to increase in severity along with elevated levels of precipitation. Also, due to the atmosphere's ability to hold more moisture, there are much longer periods of drought in this region. The average temperature in the Midwest has increased by 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit between 1900 and 2010, and annual precipitation has increased by 5 to 15% overall. Summers are becoming much drier, hurting agricultural practices, while heat waves are destroying people's health, especially in overcrowded metropolitan areas. The Great Lakes are becoming intoxicated with algal blooms, agricultural yield is decreasing immensely, and diseases among people, plants, and animals are spreading faster. It is clear that the climate crisis in the Midwest is no joke and needs to be addressed because our economy, society, and livelihoods are dependent around its success. But what can everyone do to help the cause? Well, we could stop emitting greenhouse gases altogether, but we're focused on adapting to the problem that seems to be coming inevitably our way.
The first adaptation that we need to start implementing in the Midwest to solve this climate crisis is green infrastructure. This is infrastructure that is built or planted to decrease the damages that climate change is able to have on that area. Examples of green infrastructure include permeable pavement to soak up some of the water from floods or severe storms, decreasing the severity of floods, and planting trees or other forms of vegetation providing shaded areas for people to cool off in heat waves. These trees also serve as water filters for polluted floodwater, helping the quality of water in cities. Lastly, this also includes environmentally friendly stormwater capture systems, also known as bioswales. These bioswales are drainage areas where infrastructure such as vegetation can collect and filter rainwater, further mitigating the effects of floods and rainfall in cities. Although most of these adaptations are relatively inexpensive, we still need your support to implement them on the scale that we need in order to really make a difference.
Second adaptation that would be vital to the success of the Midwest in the presence of climate change is climate-smart agriculture. These practices mainly include the use of cover crops. Cover crops are small crops that are grown on a farm or garden to improve the health of the soil, reduce erosion possibly inflicted by precipitation or floods, and increase soil organic carbon, which is necessary for plant growth, especially in periods of drought. These crops are mainly grown in the off-season to keep soil rooted and store nutrients for future crops. Many farms in the Midwest are suffering from extreme droughts and severe precipitation events. Vitalizing these practices, they increase nutrients in rooted soil, helps provide more food security, which benefits society immensely. The Midwest produces more than 30% of the nation's corn and 32% of the nation's soybeans, so the protection of the agricultural practices in this region is essential. These cover crops are not tremendously expensive, but with farmers starting to lose a good portion of their income with the effects of climate change has on them, they're having a hard time as it is, so we need your help to get them back on their feet.
Hello, my name is Farmer John, and I've been farming this land in Iowa for 37 years. I've never thought that in my entire career I would have this much trouble in getting by. I have all the best equipment, and I've been doing really well up until about 15 years ago. In these past 15 years, I've experienced 8 major floods and 16 severe storms that have completely destroyed my crop each time. Every time this happens, I can't afford to feed my family or keep up with my equipment. Also, the food prices rise immensely, and everyone blames me. Whenever this happens, I feel like giving up, but I know that I can't because so many people rely on me. If you could help me out by just donating some money, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
You should care deeply about this issue because it doesn't just affect people in the Midwest. The Midwest supplies food to all over the United States, so if the agricultural industry falters there, everyone's affected. The supply of food will decrease, and with a rising population and rising demand for the food, prices will skyrocket. More than that, farmers in this region rely completely on the success of their crops, so climate change is ruining their livelihoods completely. How would you feel if all of a sudden your crops started getting flooded or dying out due to the lack of water on a monthly basis? This is what these farmers are dealing with, so support them and their families by donating to us so that we can implement necessary adaptations to let them and their families survive. Heat waves are also very detrimental to people's health, killing more and more people every year. If this isn't enough of a reason to donate even a small amount of money to this life-saving cause, I don't know what is. Please act before it's too late.